One of the crypto coins I am most excited about for the 2025-2026 crypto altcoin season is a coin called Stellar XLM. And it's not actually that I think is going to be the #1 best gainer. Matter of fact, I think the #1 coin making everybody the most amount of gains will actually be a small, obscure coin that probably doesn't even exist yet. So this thought process here is more about where do I think a coin like XLM can realistically go in terms of price, and if you're wondering when, I personally think most of our top coins, especially coins that are already at the top like XLM, will reach their peak somewhere within the next 3 to 4 months. I personally said about 1,000 times, I think the peak lies somewhere between August of 2025 and January of 2026. And since right now, we're in September of 2025. We got a couple more months to go. And, well, let me just tell you this. The crypto altcoin season will be there before you know it. It kind of feels as if it's here right now and over before you know it as well. So as it currently stands, where's XLM at? Well, XLM is currently in the 16th position at roughly 39 cents a coin. And oh boy, is it cheap, in my opinion. So recently here, a lot of crypto coins have been going absolutely insane because of what are called DATs. These are what they call digital asset treasuries. It's companies launching these new incentives to buy billions of dollars worth of a crypto, basically as well as company monies, let's call it, to hopefully increase their stock price. And there's a whole theory behind it. You can speculate on that whole debacle if you want. All I'm saying is that's been the most recent hype. That's been the most recent excitement. A lot of other coins, though, they're not really included in that little package, XLM being one of them. That's not necessarily basing all their gains on, well, 1 or 2 companies buying a ton, yet when you take a look at the performance, XLM is really quite an interesting coin, going, for example, from 22.5 cents all the way towards 47 cents in a freaking snap. Right now, surely back to about 39 cents, just like XRP, but that's the thing. XLM is one of the coins that gains exponentially hard when the market is good, not as one of the first ones a little bit later, but it's just because I personally think Stellar, XRP, HBAR, those ADA, VeChain, those coins have a community that aggressively buy into pumps and spread the word around, which makes it just go so exponential. If I'm taking a look at all my bots, all the bots I've got running, you want to know that the one that's always been at the top, always, has been XLM. And matter of fact, if I did not buy a lot more when the market came down, I think XLM right now might still also be in the #1 spot because of the craziness when it comes to the severity of XLM pumps. Again, XLM is not a coin that's always doing well, but it's a coin that once it does, it just goes absolutely exponential. And I've got a couple of bots running on XLM as it currently stands. Is it in my main bot stack? I'm not 100% sure of that. Let's quickly take a look. So here we go. So as you can see, right, the reason that my percentage profit went down significantly somewhere is because I added a very, very hard amount of dollars to this bot. There was basically $10,000 inside of it. I'm not even sure when I added the other 6.5, but that lowered the profitability by quite a good margin. But the thing is, we opened this at 30 cents. We put, let's say, $16,500 in. It's not exactly like that, but hey, we cashed out about $4,000 in terms of profit. And just from 30 cents to now 38 cents a Stellar, we've made about $16,000. So we've basically doubled our money, even though Stellar is only up like 9 cents here, right? And we've also cashed out $4,000 in total, 120% profit, $16,000 and $20,000 out over just the past like 4 months. And here comes the kicker. If Stellar now actually goes towards like $1, for example, oh boy, is the amount of money we make here going to be crazy, but even nicer. If Stellar just goes sideways, as you can see, because of the way I've set up my bots, they still actually buy all the way down and sell all the way up. So we still make a very good amount of money. Now, recently here, it's not been trading that much. You can see over the past few months, it's done about 5,000 trades. Right now, XLM has not been that volatile, so the amount of trades here is quite lackluster. Only, for example, here, like 15 over the past 24 hours. But that's also for the most part because my price range here was very, very high. I was expecting a massive move for XLM somewhere, and it did somewhere, sure, but it got stopped. But the thing is, I think it's actually okay to not have that much of a crazy APY on, cashed out profits for ADA's volatility, just purely to not have it sell all the ADA on its way up just quite yet. Because take a look at this. It's 184,000 XLM long. If we just go from, think about it, if we just go from like this 40 cent mark to like, let's say $2, you can understand the fact that it's 180,000 XLM long. We go to $1, could be we're making a couple $100,000 worth of profit, right? Just on this 16K invested, which is pretty crazy. By the way, I will quickly say, if you're looking for a platform trader, the one I trade with my bots on, which is all automatic, like it's the first link in the description down below, it's Pionex. You might want to check it out. I cover it every single day. I cover all the hundreds of thousands of dollars I have in these bots every single day on the channel here. I mean, there's a full overview if you guys want of all the bots I've got running over here or in a Google Doc. You know, here you can see we've got a couple $100,000 in these bots. But the main reason, and here's the funny thing, that I don't have an XLM position open like this, like I do for XRP, you can see my 1.1 million and this and that, is because I think XLM is one of those coins where if I keep it open forever in a normal long, it's actually going to cost me a lot in funding, where I've already got XRP and they're kind of like brothers. But I really wanted to mostly just take advantage of XLM's volatility while I'm still in the middle with XLM, XRP. It's kind of a difficult one. But I basically chose XRP a while back as my coin of choice, and I don't think it makes that much sense to have both of them open in long form. I thought it makes more sense to basically take advantage of XLM's volatility, have a juicy, still it's a couple 100,000 XLM in terms of a long open right here, so that if XLM goes, which it in my opinion inevitably is going to do crazy, we make a lot of money on it, while for the most part just taking advantage of the volatility. If I did not have a few $1 million worth of XRP positions open though, I would most likely add a pretty crazy amount to my XLM longs here, or just basically into an XLM long. You can see kind of funny how our XRP buy has basically been at perfect bottom. You can see here, we bought 150,000 XRP, and I didn't actually buy it right here, but still, theoretically speaking, it's one of the best prices we could have had. You can see it just keeps bouncing off that area. Sure, we should have actually sold it before and then bought back right back in, but this is why you have to watch these key levels and try to buy at them. We bought it about $3 in XRP. We right now are at $3.04. We're only up about $4,000 because it's just a $450,000 trade, but that's the thing. If I did not have this XRP position running already, I'd probably, and I could still actually just replace it with XLM. I kind of think they have the same growth curve, but I already chose one. And then again, you can see in the bots, I'm more diversifying because you do not know which one of them is going to gain first. I kind of see them both as having similar sort of potential though. Stellar, I mean, it's still founded by the same people that founded XRP, right? And if you're wondering, where do I think it can go? Well, as it currently stands, I still believe that it should have actually done some crazier numbers in the 2021 bull run. It went from, let's just say, 58 cents here to, let's say, 80 cents. I think it should have gone slightly higher, more towards about $1.50 all the way back then. And then from there, basically build doubling, about tripling maybe this season, going to right around $4. And that's a funny thing. I've said $5 in XLM for a long time. Most times when I say that, I get laughed at. But then I look at the market cap, 12.4 billion. If we're talking a 10x, a 20x from here, 10x, 120 billion, for example, current market cap, relatively to the rest of the market here, it would place it right now in the 7th position. But considering that these will most likely, right, if Bitcoin doubles, it's at $5 trillion, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. If Ethereum here, which can triple, let's say, it's at 1.5 trillion. And if XRP can also do a 10x, maybe it's at 1.8 trillion, you get it. Eventually, even though right now it'd be placed in 7th, because all these are also probably going to do some crazier numbers. Let's just say it ends up in the 12th position, but right now it's, for example, the 16th, or maybe it even stays in the 16th. I just have such crazy outlooks for most of these coins that when you're talking about 120 billion, right now it might seem crazy, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, $1 billion for Bitcoin's market cap seemed crazy a while back. I think it's going to happen. I mean, in my opinion, it's an inevitability. The only question is, will it happen this season or the next? But the reason I'm holding a lot of XLM just in my coins is primarily because I want to diversify into my different payment type of coins. And I've stepped away this season from buying a lot of these garbage ass coins that right now I still think that we are in a sector, or let's call it the session, where mostly I just have to focus on large cap coins. And for that reason, like I said, we're buying a pretty good stash of all these different ones. And again, remember, $16.5 thousand here. It's times 5 in theory. We're very close towards the bottom of the range. So in this case here, 184,000 XLM. I think it's still a $75,000 long that we've got going on right now for XLM, right? If my my calculations here are correct. But here's the kicker. I still, whenever I look at it, think, oh, it's actually not that much. We should be going way crazier on a coin like XLM because remember, just a little bit ago, right? This let me actually tell you a fun fact. Whenever I opened this position up, it was actually trading at a loss for most of the duration. I just made sure to buy the dip because I know coins like XLM, once they go absolutely crazy. I bought the dip somewhere right here. I added it to $10,000 at that point. I think it was $5,000 before. All of a sudden, you can see here in the span of, let's see how long this took. So it was at a loss on the 7th of July. And then pretty quickly afterwards, let's see here. The 14th of July, from being in how much? Let's say a $5,000 loss. Exactly 1 week later, from a $5,000 loss, I was in, let's quickly see here, almost $30,000 worth of profit. So we're up $35,000 there in about 1 week, all of a sudden on this 𝗕𝗀𝗪 position. And the funniest thing is, 𝗕𝗀𝗪 did pretty good, sure. It was the best gainer sometimes. But for a real bull run, I mean, if you look back at it, it really didn't do much. It didn't even take out the previous peak from earlier, basically last year, let's call it. I think whatever's been happening to 𝗕𝗀𝗪 here is okay, but that's all it has been. Okay. The moment 𝗕𝗀𝗪 goes, though, I think is going to be absolutely crazy. I've positioned myself for it. I'm ready for it. And I think all we've seen here is just like child's play. But the moment it goes, 𝗕𝗀𝗪 is one of those coins, together with most of the payment coins here, that just goes so crazy. And I do not want to miss it. Where would I sell? Well, that's a funny thing. I personally think the best thing is either my bots, they sell automatically, right? As we get higher towards like the range. I will change my range though. Right now it's 90 cents where my cap is at, but that's because we're still pretty early into this move. I'll push it up significantly as the market progresses. My real target for 𝗕𝗀𝗪 is probably around $2.30, where I'm going to get really kind of anxious about the price being high, but it depends. If 𝗕𝗀𝗪 this time around is one of the first gainers, most likely my targets are a bit higher, but that also depends. Do I have a new designated plan? If it happens really early, I might actually sell a bit later rather than if it happens really late. But let's just say from anywhere above $1.80, somewhere let's say $1.80, $2.30, I actually think is a pretty good time to start going out. But it also depends on how heavy I've gone. If my trade here sizes up because 𝗕𝗀𝗪 gets another massive crash going, there's a chance that my 𝗕𝗀𝗪 long will be so crazy that I'm going to sell a lot more at 90 cents, for example, just to get some of the cash flow back in and either go again, basically meaning I actually double down because 𝗕𝗀𝗪 showed a lot of strength, or start going out, buying into new coins that are hyped at the time, that are still kind of more undervalued. Because again, 𝗕𝗀𝗪 at 90 cents, I don't think is that expensive. I think it's still quite early for where it can go this run. But sometimes you find other coins that have even more gain potential with perhaps a similar sort of risk. So we'll have to assess that as time progresses. But I'm still pretty freaking excited about 𝗕𝗀𝗪. Is it my number one coin? No. But it doesn't have to be. It's always about diversification and about coins that have a good risk reward. 𝗕𝗀𝗪 is, whenever the market is hot, one of the most hyped up, most, I'm going to call it trusted coins to have a crazy, crazy pump cycle. And so if you're looking for some diversification, you're looking for a coin that's always hyped up every single season, that's in the top of the top, that's never missed a freaking pump. It's never missed it. Never. It always goes. You can put your freaking clock on it. 𝗕𝗀𝗪 is a really good one to watch. Again, in the payment sector, I like to buy coins in the payment sector that either make money, have to do with money, not just with all these freaking random ass subjects. 𝗕𝗀𝗪 is one of the best ones to do it. And that's about it for this little thought process. Let me know down below if you're holding 𝗕𝗀𝗪. Let me know if you watched this far into the video, and that's about it.